Okay, this is what it looks like after you disc it. I finished all the disking. There's some hard places up in this area, all through there, and back in there, that's where the biggest lumps are, and it's working fine, the disc is. Then I'll run the box scraper next. Okay, here's my disc set up. This worked okay. I did have a long piece of steel to keep the disc away from the tires, but this is a different machine here, this Husqvarna. Okay, here's the Yita motor, 42-inch box scraper. After I did this field over here, and I'll show a picture of that, I went clear down there by that tree right there, went all the way down here. Can't see it because of the barn being in the way. Went all the way down here to that end, and then there's another section that goes over that way out to the road. So a couple of things that I have a hang up about causes a lot of dust, but that's normal for field work. Basically, we're trying to work this field down so that it's not so it's tillable, but basically to get rid of the weeds and to fill in some of the holes and low places. And if you look at this how it is, you can tell that it's at an odd angle. Now this handle is supposed to keep it from turning. Well, doesn't do too good of a job, and this hole right here is an alternative so that you can turn the whole thing at an angle, and that's the same for this hole over here. So now I'm going to take this apart slightly so that I can grease it. It's kind of sad that I have to put this piece of tape on there to hold this lever down. Okay, this lever, as I explained before, if you lift it up, you can turn it, and you're going to have to loosen this up. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, you might have to loosen this bolt here. Also, you can turn it the other way. Another thing is that I just broke this bolt. So, yeah, not too good. Yeah, this shaft is kind of, I didn't grease it, maybe I should have before, but it's kind of chewed up right here. Yeah, I probably should have, but I didn't have any instructions. Now this is a stainless steel bolt, and it should last longer than the other one. And it's about 3/8 of an inch. And I don't like this movement like that. And this bolt takes an extreme beating. And this Allen wrench is 5/16. And another thing is that there's a gap over here and a smaller gap over here on this side. So I'll have to deal with that, I guess. All right, we're going to look at this surface after I went over it with the box scraper. It filled in some of the holes possibly, but hardly touched this area right here. Dug up a whole lot of rocks too. Now here's where it really paid off. Right there. It actually did fill in some of those holes. I really dig that. There's some hard places up in this area, all through there, and back in there, that's where the biggest lumps are, and it's working fine, the disc is. Then I'll run the box scraper next. I did have a long piece of steel to keep the disc away from the tires, but this is a different machine here, this Husqvarna. I'll try to explain this. This is the hitch that's on the lawnmower, and there's a hole here. Now this would be looking if you were overhead, all right, and you were looking down on the hitch. This is called a bird's eye view, and it would be as if a bird were flying overhead and looking down on the hitch. Okay, now that is 2 1/4 from the center of this hole to this edge right here. All right, now this little square right here, or rectangle, represents this hitch right here. And from the top of the hitch to this first hole, that's 1 inch. To the second hole, it's 5 3/8. So I'm going to have to make this, I'm going to have to make something that's going to be about this tall. From the bottom of, or the top of this hitch up to here somewhere. This, by the way, is called the side elevation. or the back elevation. I will call it the back. Okay, they've got a bolt here, and I feel back here, and there's nothing holding this, nothing on this, so I'll just take this off. It's got a sort of a threaded area back here. And I drilled this hole down here 1 inch from the bottom. That's okay. And now I'm going to drill this one here. Just mark its location, and then this one up here will be the same distance from this edge to the center of the hole. Okay, now I've got to measure from here over to the corner about 6 7/8. Then I'm measuring to the center of this bolt back here 3 3/4. Okay, basically I'm trying to show that this is the piece of angle iron that I have in my hand right here. Alright, and that'll be setting on top of this part of the hitch. This is the corner, that's what we're looking at here. This is the corner of that Husqvarna. Alright, now from this part of the angle iron to the corner, that's 6 7/8, and then from the corner to this pin is 3 3/8. Now I measured approximately to the center of this pin. So yeah, it's hard to envision exactly what I've got here, but we'll try to get through it. Okay, I measured 7 3/4. 7 3/4. That's where the pin is. So I come up here, 7 3/4. Made a mark with my Sharpie, and then I'm going to have a piece of angle iron. That's 1.5 inches. So you divide 1.5 inches by half, and that's 3/4. So you just come up here 3/4, make a mark, another 3/4. So now my angle iron is going to go right here, where the X is. That'll be from this area to the corner, which will be over here somewhere, 6 7/8. I want to add 1.5 inches. Okay, with angle iron, when you're connecting two pieces, you have to radius one area because this area right in here has a radius. So I want to have this and these two to go together. So in other words, where I mark this is where this 1.5 inch piece is going to go. So I have to connect these two like that. Alright, I want this 90 degrees to between here, so all I did was mark it right here. Okay, I've got it tacked and I checked the square to see if it was square. So now we're just going to weld it. Okay, here's the piece that I'm going to put on here, and all I have to do is put another piece back there. I know that the space between the two holes that I had, that space is 4.5, so I'm going to make this 5.5, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and cut this wire right here. Here's the piece that I welded. I'm going to cut this wire. So measure a piece, 5.5. Okay, now just take these bolt cutters, cut it right there. Okay, now I want these two in the same plane, so I put it on this piece of flat steel. this is going to go on here, something like that. I think it will have to go like this. And then this will have to be slotted somewhere to accommodate that bolt. We'll see where that's at, what I'm talking about. Okay, now I've got this welded up. It's approximately correct. This hole right here is going to have to be enlarged a little bit. Well, I suppose this thing on the top here isn't so pretty, but it's going to help hold this handle down. Yeah, it'll work.